Okay, class, I hope everybody is feeling good and ready to learn. We're going to learn in our Earth Changes books today. So everybody, please get out your Earth Changes books and get out a piece of paper. And also, I'm going to pass out a words meaning chart to you. So let me go over our expectations for today. So the expectations for today is you are going to be reading the text and annotating text to find context clues and define specific domain-specific vocabulary. Okay? And you will be filling out the information in this blank words chart here. So you will be filling out this word chart using the information that we're getting from the text. So let me go over our expectations for this lesson. So the goals for this lesson include being able to reread to find context clues that help define specific words about earthquakes. And then you guys will be checking your definitions by using a dictionary on the web to help expand and make them more precise. So you're going to need your Chromebooks, but we don't need them just yet. We're going to save that to the end. And then we're going to be sharing our knowledge of these words in a collaborative conversation and in writing. So I'll be calling on you guys to discuss what we have learned, and you'll also be writing it and filling in the information in those charts that I just gave you. Okay? So that's the expectations for today. We're going to be rereading to find context clues that help you define specific scientific words about earthquakes. We're going to check these definitions by using a dictionary on the web to revise our definitions and make them better. And then we are going to be sharing our word knowledge of these words that we're learning about in a collaborative conversation with each other, and also in writing in that chart. So first, we're going to do a little review. So now, everybody should have their Earth Changes books out. I see everybody is there participating. So let's turn it to page 4. So we're going to be working right here in this story about earthquakes today. So today we're going to be learning about context clues. And we know that context clues are informational. Whenever we're looking for context clues, we have to look for signal words and information in the text. That's why it's called context clues. We have to look for clues and information in the text that help us understand a word and what it means better. So how we can understand what a word means, we can read the text and then figure out, okay, I don't know what this word means, but I know what this word means. And then we try to make sense. We use the clues from the book to help us make sense of what a word means when we don't know what it means. So we use clues, we read, and we got to analyze the text to try to figure out, what does this word mean? Maybe we can look at a word next to it, and then it can help us figure out what that word is. We have to think, have we ever seen this word before? Whenever we're dealing with context clues, we know that we are going to be using the text as evidence. We're going to be like Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes get a little magnifying glass, and we have to look through the text and find clues on how we could figure out what a word means that we do not know. So that is our job for today. We're going to be like Sherlock Holmes, analyzing the text with the magnifying glass to figure out what these words mean. We're going to be dealing with scientific terms that will need to be known on how to understand this text completely. Okay? So, what are some kind of context clues that we have learned about whenever we're looking for, when we have learned to look for in a text? So what are some examples that we could look for? What are some context clues? What are some examples of context clues that we have learned about in the past? Jesus, what do you think? Context clues. When we think of context clues, what do you think? What's an example of what we can look for?
Words that can and can't stand by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Very good job. So that's what we think about when we think of context clues. Okay? So now what we are going to do is I am going to split you up into partners, and then with your partner, I want you to go in and use our words meanings chart here. You're going to fill out this chart with your partner, and you're going to be finding context clues with your partner. But let's go ahead, we could go ahead and do the first one together. So let's do this first one together. So everybody should have this chart here, and we're going to be focusing on this word magnitude. Magnitude. So when we think about this word magnitude, we're going to use context clues. So this is our first step, is to use context clues to figure out and get clues of what magnitude would mean. And then we're going to define it ourselves using these context clues. We're going to use the evidence from our story to make our own definition of what we think it is. And then we're going to revise the definition with the dictionary on our computers. But we'll save that step to the very end. So let's go ahead and do that together now. So, first step we have to do is we have to find the word in the text. So we have to look for the word magnitude. So it's right here somewhere in our short story, pages 4 and 5. Let's look for the word magnitude. What page do we see as magnitude on? What page? Could somebody find it?
Page 5.
Yeah, it's in page 5. Okay? So we see it's in page 5. What paragraph? What paragraph is it on?
3.
Paragraph 3. So everybody needs to identify the word magnitude. We identified it here in paragraph 3, and go ahead and circle it. This is the word that we're trying to figure out context clues for. So what we're going to do now is we need to read this paragraph and use context clues on how we could try to figure out what magnitude means. So right now, we do not know what magnitude means. So we need to figure that out. We need to use clues from this paragraph to figure out what magnitude means. So let's read this paragraph together. Measuring quakes. Scientists can measure the strength or magnitude of an earthquake with an instrument called a seismograph. In one type of seismograph, seismic waves cause a drum to vibrate as a weighted pen records the vibrations. The longer the lines, the greater the energy released by the quake. So just by reading this paragraph, what are some clues? What are some context clues that we could use that will help us figure out what magnitude means? Any volunteers? George, what do you think? What's a context clue that will help us figure out what this word magnitude means?
Strength.
Strength, exactly. So as we see right here in the text, it's telling us that scientists can measure the strength or magnitude. So just like when we're dealing with math problems, it's like it's either this or this. So that means it's the same. So when they have that keyword or right there, it's telling us that strength or magnitude is pretty much about the same thing. Magnitude is very similar to this word strength. So we have this keyword right here. We can underline strength right here. And then we're going to fill this in for our context clue. So our context clue we can fill in is where it says strength or magnitude. That sentence right there where it has the word magnitude in there helps us learn that magnitude is dealing with something with strength. So when we think of magnitude, now we can think of strength. And we know what strength is, you know how strong somebody is. So now we can get a better understanding of what magnitude is. It's talking about strength, how strong something's going to be. Okay? So now let's come up with a definition. Let's come up with a definition together of what magnitude is. So what is the definition of magnitude that we could use? Juan, tell us. We know that the context clue, this word magnitude means strength. So what's a definition? Tell me a definition that you could use. What is it, Juan? What do you think? What's a definition that we could use? So we know that it's about how strong something's going to be, how strong something's going to be. So what's a definition that we can make that's going to tell us how strong something's going to be? What do we think, Juan? Okay, we'll have George help you. Phone a friend. George, go ahead and help Juan. What's a definition that we can make for magnitude?
How strong an earthquake is?
Yeah, exactly. We could say that magnitude is going to tell us how strong an earthquake is. That's an example definition that we can make, is how strong an earthquake is. So everybody go ahead and fill this in now. So our definition of this word magnitude, we figured out by analyzing the text that magnitude means strength. It's talking about how strong something is. So our definition that we can make, since we're talking about earthquakes in our story, we know that magnitude is going to tell us how strong an earthquake is. So using the context clues from the text, we're reading about earthquakes. So we know that magnitude is telling us how strong an earthquake is. Because we know that magnitude is talking about strength, how strong something is. So that's our definition. So now what we would do next is we're going to revise our definition using an educational resource. So what we're going to do now, let's go ahead and revise this term together. So I'm going to walk you through how you're going to do this with your partner whenever you get your Google Chromebooks. So you're going to go onto dictionary.com. Okay? So once you figured out the context clue with your partner, then you're going to define it with your partner. And then lastly, you're going to revise it using your Chromebooks. Go onto dictionary.com, and then it will pop up onto this page here. And then excuse me. Okay, here we go. So now we are going to just type in what our word is to get a better understanding, a more precise definition. So now we're going to revise it. So magnitude. So magnitude. So what this word means in the textbook definition, in the dictionary, it means it's talking about the size of something. How great and important something's going to be. The greatness, the size or amount something's going to be. So we know magnitude is talking about strength. How big something's going to be. How great of size something's going to be. Okay? So this is what our dictionary tells us. We already got a pretty good familiar idea from our textbook, but now we have a better idea of what magnitude means because we looked it up in the dictionary. The dictionary is a great resource to use whenever we don't understand what a word means. Okay? So now let's revise our definition. So what's a revised definition that we could use using this reference? Lexi. Tell us, Lexi, what would be a revised definition? What could we use to change our definition? So we have here our definition, how strong an earthquake is. How could we revise it using this information here? What do you think? Just anything. There's no wrong answers, you know. We're just going to make our definition a little bit better.
I don't know what that one says.
Which word? Dimensions? Yeah, that's a big word. But okay, here, let's go ahead and have George. George, go ahead and help her out. What's a revised definition we can use using this dictionary?
The amount of energy released by an earthquake.
A little bit louder?
The amount of energy released by an earthquake.
Yeah, so we can use this keyword right here, the amount. So we know that the amount of energy released by an earthquake. So let's go ahead and fill this in now. so now let's fill this in here. So let's make our new definition. It is the amount of energy released
By an earthquake.
by an earthquake. So this is what you will be doing today. Now you're going to fill out the rest of this chart. There's 2 more vocabulary words on this chart. So we have the word seismograph and tectonic plates. So it is going to be your goal to reread this text and find context clues that will help you figure out what seismograph means and what tectonic plates mean. Then you will make your own definition of those words with the context clues. And then at last, then you will use your Chromebooks and go on to dictionary.com to revise your definition using the reference in dictionary.com. Okay? Mm-hmm. Is there any questions about what you are to be doing before I split you guys up in your partners? Yes, Brianna? Okay, yeah, we can get you another Chromebook. Mm-hmm. George?
I don't have a question.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now I'm going to split you guys up into groups, into partners actually. I'm going to split you up into 2 partners. And then you are going to do exactly what we just did together, but on your own to figure that out. So let's go with, so Saul and Ian will be back soon. So let's see how many we got. 1, 2, 10. Okay.
It's equal.
Yeah, we could split everybody in 2. So we could just wait till they come back and then we can have them be partners. So let's go ahead and let's have Juan and Jaylene be partners. And then let's have Ariana and Alejandro be partners. And then we're going to have Brianna and George, and then Lexi and Jesus. Okay? So here, let me help you guys get set up into your partners. So what you could do here, you guys could just talk to each other like that. You'll be fine right there. And then so Alejandro, here, let's move your desk around. You could talk right there to Ariana. And then Brianna, you could do the same thing. You could just turn your desk around right here and then talk to George. And then let's have Jesus. You guys are far, yeah. Yeah, you could just come sit over here. Bring yourself over here, and you can sit right here since Roxana's out today. And then, yeah, and then Lexi, you could just turn your desk. Sorry. I want to hear you guys talking. I want to hear you guys being productive, okay? Can you get some help on that? Got it? Go ahead. Start talking. Try to find those context clues and make those definitions. Find those context clues, make those definitions, and then once you are done, then you could get out your Chromebooks to revise your definition. And since you're with a partner, if one of your Chromebooks is dead, all you guys need is 1 Chromebook for each partner. Okay? So you have your Chromebook. It's charged? Okay, well, we can get you one. Okay. So go ahead and start. Start talking with each other and figure out what are the context clues for seismograph and tectonic plates, and define it and then revise it. So go ahead. I want to hear you guys talking. Talk with each other. Where are the clues? Find the clues. How you doing? Doing good? Talk about it right here with Jimmy. Okay. So all this with Jimmy. Okay? So you guys need to figure out the context clues and define them together, okay? You guys are a partner. I want to hear you guys talking, okay? How you guys doing over here?
Mister,
Yeah.
why does every group have a boy and a girl?
I know, right? That's nice. Nothing wrong with that, is it?
Yeah,
That's
but
good.
then it's gonna be a boy and a boy. And then, so.
Okay, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Find the context clues. So what's the context clues for seismograph? That's the first step you guys should be working on right now with your partners. Find the context clues for seismograph. Talk to your partner about it. What do you think it is? Talk to your partner. Jesus, what do you think the context clue for seismograph would be? So first you need to find the word. Okay. I want to hear you guys talking. Talk with each other. Collaborate. Collaborate. So we have one. Tell us one. What's the context clue one for a seismograph? What is something that you found? Nice and clear so Jeremy can hear you. What's a context clue? Looks like you're writing something down right here. What is it? What's a context clue that you could use to help you figure out what seismograph means? What is it? Just say what you have right here. What you need to be using right here stuff. Definitely from the textbook. So we have right here seismograph. What do we think a seismograph means just by looking at this information here? One? How about your partner? One? What do you think? One? What do you have right now? So what is it? Looks like you have a context clue here. What is it? Just say it right here with Jimmy and your partner. What does it say right here? You need to work with your partner. I want to share that information, please. What do you think, Lexi? What do you think? Okay. So what do you think? Tell you, sis. What is that you figured out? Okay, yeah. It's showing us the images right here. A seismograph with a drum and a pen. So we know that a seismograph has a drum and a pen. So that's a context clue. The image. What do you think? What are you thinking, Jesus? What's a context clue? So Lexi found this as a context clue. What's something else? What's something else that we can use to try to figure out what's a context clue? What would a context clue be? Okay, so once you figure out a context clue, then talk to Lexi about it. Hi, Ian. So go ahead and sit down and then get out your Earth Changes books, please. So what do you think, George? What is a context clue for seismograph? That's one that you found.
The German pen record the vibration of terrain or an earthquake.
Oh, that's your definition. I'm talking about what's your context.
Record the vibration of an earthquake.
Yeah, exactly. So where did you find that in the text?
The vibration of an earthquake. I measure the strength or magnitude of an earthquake dimension.
Yeah, so we use the context clue from the text. Good job. Did you show Brianna that already? Share with her. Brianna, did you hear that? So what do you think it is, Brianna? What's the context clue we found? Yeah, same thing. Where's where we get that? That's why we're having you look at partners, so you guys can get two minds better than one. After you find these context clues and find these definitions. There you go. So yes, boys, you will need your Earth Changes books out, and then here is a word meanings chart that you will be filling out. So I want you two to work together as partners in a group. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's have you guys move your desk right here. So here, Saul, can you stand up, please? Move this box. You guys up together. historic earthquakes that we have read already. What we're going to do is be filling out these word meanings charts. Okay? So what we are to do is we are going to look for these words. So we have 3 words right here. So, pay attention. So we have 3 words listed here in our word meaning chart. We're going to find these words here in the text, and then we're going to define them and try to figure out what they mean by using the clues from the text. Okay? So find the word magnitude, find the word seismograph, find the word tectonic plates. We're going to find these words, and then we're going to try to figure out what does this word mean. We're going to figure out what does this word mean. So we're going to try to figure out what that word means by reading the paragraph and figuring out what it means. Okay? So go ahead and work on the first one now. Look, I did the first one for you guys. So go ahead and fill out the information for the first one. So I did the first one for you guys, so fill that out. And then work on the other 2 with each other. We're going to talk with each other, find the clues, you know. And then you're going to revise it at the end with your homework. So I'm come around and check, and once you guys finish finding the context, clues, and definition, then you can use your Chromebooks. So go ahead and fill out the information for this first one now. You're doing good, you're doing good. So, Alejandro, tell us, Alejandro, what's the context clues you put right here for tectonic plates? Yeah, exactly, that's good. What did you have? You guys have the same thing? Tectonic plates? Oh, you're gonna revise it? Okay, well, actually go right here to do these, and then we're gonna use the Chromebook at the end to revise it. So just go on to this one, and then use the Chromebook at the end. Okay? Make sure you're talking with each other, communicate. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 2 more minutes, and then we're going to talk about this together. One more minute. Wrap up whatever you guys are finishing with your partner, and then we're going to discuss it together as a class. Okay? So for a context clue? Okay, yeah, you can go ahead. Okay, so now that is time's up, class. So now let's go ahead and let's put these chairs back real quick. So you can go ahead and go back and sit in your seat. Good job participating and being in a group. Alejandro, go ahead and come this way. Got it. Okay, class, so now let's discuss. Now let's share with each other what we have learned about these words. So let's go to our word seismograph. So what's a context clue? What do we figure out for seismograph? What's a context clue? George, tell us, what is a context clue for seismograph?
Records the vibration of an earthquake.
Okay, that's the context clue we could use. Excellent. Alejandro, tell us a definition that you and your partner made for seismograph. What's the definition that you made? So what's that second box that you filled in with your partner? You had something filled in there, just tell us what you wrote. What do you think, Alejandro? What's your definition that you put for seismograph? You can do it. You have something written right there, right? Just say what you have.
And when the tectonic plates touch it, it turns into a earthquake.
Okay. Good job. So now let's go to Jaylene. Jaylene, now tell us, we found the context clue in our definition. So what would be a revised definition using dictionary.com? So I see you have your Chromebook open and you have it on dictionary.com. So by using dictionary.com and by searching up the word seismograph, how could we revise our definition using that reference? Tell us the definition. Tell us the definition that you could use with the revision of the dictionary.com. What do we think, JD? What do we think? What would be a revised definition of seismograph? So what does it say online? What does it tell us? The what? What is it? Oh, it's not? Okay. Let's go with Juan. Juan, tell us, Juan, what do you have for your revised definition of seismograph? What is it? Tell us, please. Excellent. Very good job. So that's what a seismograph is. So now let's go to our next word, tectonic plates. What is a context clue that we can use for tectonic plates? Let's go with Brianna. Brianna, tell us. I see you have something written down. Just tell us, what did you write down for your tectonic plates? What's the context clue that you and your partner found? What's the context clue? We'll phone a friend. Jesus, tell us, what's the context clue you got for tectonic plates? Oh, for seismograph? Oh yeah, we're dealing with tectonic plates now. Let's go with Lexi. Lexi, tell us, what's the context clue that you found for tectonic plates? So by using the text right here, we see we're dealing with tectonic plates. What's the context clue that we could use? What's a certain word that we could use to help us? What do you think, Lexi? What is it? What is that information right there in your text? What's it say? Reshapes? Yeah, exactly. So that would be our context clue right there with the word reshapes. So then our definition, Ariana, tell us, what would be a definition for tectonic plates? What's your definition that you have? Okay. Well, just by using the context clue right here that you wrote, just come up with the definition right now. What's the definition for tectonic plates? What do you think tectonic plates are? How would you define? How would you tell me if I'm asking you, what's a tectonic plate? What would you say? There's no wrong answers. I just want to know what you think. Because then we revise it with our dictionary to get a better understanding. So what do you think? What's tectonic plates? What would you tell me? Excellent. Very good job. So then lastly, then we would revise our definition using our reference. Okay? So with our revised definition, so we know that tectonic plates, we have our context clue and we have our definition. Now, lastly, we would revise our definition using the reference. Does anybody want to volunteer and give us a revision of this definition of tectonic plates? So we should be using our Chromebooks. So let's go back to Jaylene since she has her Chromebook open. So Jaylene, what's tectonic plate tell us right here? Right here, this one. So let's see. So tectonic plates. We see. So tell us, Jaylene. So this is what it is right here. So read us the sentence right here, Jaylene. What's it say? Dozen. So the dozen. Motion. Study. Field. Excellent. So then now we have our revision right here, thanks to our resource at dictionary.com. So that will conclude our lesson for today, class. Thank you all for participating and being good partners with everybody figuring out this information for the text. So go ahead, and now we can close our books and we're going to get into our social studies unit next. Okay? So go ahead and put this book away and put the chart away for now as we move into our next subject.